All right. Good evening, friends. Welcome to the regular meeting for the Village of Pleasantville Board of Trustees. Today is Monday, March 8th. If you are interested in watching this or any other of our meetings or even meetings of other boards and commissions, you can always watch us on Zoom. We continue to meet in the pandemic world via Zoom. You can pick up the links at our website at pleasantville-ny.gov. And all of these meetings are recorded via Zoom, and the tapes are then posted within a few days at pctv76.org, and you can watch them on demand. Our next regular meeting is 2 weeks from today, which is Monday, March 22, with a work session at 7 p.m. and our regular session at 8 p.m. So I had a couple of announcements to make. Let me just share my screen for a moment. Can you give me the rights to share my screen, Noreen? Okay, a few points to make. This is our website at pleasantville-ny.gov. And I want to point out, as I have in the past, if you scroll down on the home page to this link, COVID-19 Westchester County Dashboard, that jumps you into this site, which is managed by the county using data that comes through the state and the Westchester County Department of Health. It tells you a lot about what's going on in terms of new positives in Westchester County. And it also allows you in this left-hand pane to scroll and find Pleasantville or any other community you might wish to find. So a slightly alarming report is that a week or so ago, we were in the 20s active cases. We are now at 43. The bottom tab here allows you to check active. New cases that in this case are cases that tested positive Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, 13 in Pleasantville. Also a little bit of an alarming number because we haven't seen that number quite so high in a while. And then the right-hand tab allows you to see the cumulative cases that are recorded in the system, likely something of an undercount, but at the moment we have 601 confirmed cases among Pleasantville residents. And it would appear at the current rate that we will almost certainly crest 700. And when we do so, we're within shouting distance of a circumstance where, since the numbers started to get counted, 1 in 10 Pleasantville residents has contracted COVID. So the piece that everyone needs to be aware of is that we've got 43 positives at the moment. Those are folks who are expected to quarantine, and 13 new positives over the weekend. So it isn't clear what's driving that or where it's coming from. Some of it is community shares. Some of it is exchange of the virus inside a household. But it is quite clear that it is really important for people to continue to maintain their guard, social distance, wash hands, wear masks. Governor Cuomo has reported that effective March 19, restaurants outside of New York City can go to 75% of occupancy, so long as they can achieve that consistent with the other guidelines about social distancing that are required in the regulations. But that is obviously great news from the standpoint of our restaurant folks, and great news for all those folks in Pleasantville who've been wanting to be able to be back in a restaurant, but recognize that there is some risk attached to that, and being vaccinated is not alone a safety shield. So I would encourage folks to take a look at reports that came today from Washington, from the CDC, with new guidelines about what being vaccinated actually means in terms of people's individual behavior. Part of it is they're not entirely sure, but as more data and more research is done about the effects of the vaccination, the CDC provided some new guidelines today. So what's really important for everybody, especially as restaurants are starting to open with more folks, with schools talking about going back to more in-person learning, the best way to protect all of that progress is to wear masks, social distance, maintain your guard. So while I'm on this page, as you all know, if you follow our meetings, we, like every other community in New York State that has a police force, have been engaged in a police reform process. Some months back, Governor Cuomo established by executive order the requirement that every community undertake a community outreach program and to develop a set of recommendations for police reform and to file that report with Albany by April 1. So again, that same left-hand column, just above the COVID-19 dashboard link is our police reform link. When you click into that, all the stuff in the left-hand column allows you to click back into some of the presentations and the discussions that have taken place in the 7 Zoom meetings we have so far held. But the place we're at right now is this top link, the draft police reform recommendations. So we had a Zoom meeting last week specifically to invite comment about the recommendations we have. You can find these just as you saw me do right now on our website. And I encourage anyone who has any interest in this to buzz through what we have suggested and then get in touch with us if you have comments, questions, advice, suggestions, whatever. Also on this page, the police reform page, you'll see this link here for an email, policereform@pleasantville-ny.gov. If you click into that, you can send an email that will come to us and it will get assembled and put back, sent back to all the village board members. So what we're looking at right now is to continue to tinker with these recommendations over the next week, week and a half. And 2 weeks from today, which is our Monday, March 22nd meeting, is the meeting when we anticipate having a final draft in place, and it will appear on our board agenda for resolution of acceptance, after which we would send this document in its final form, along with the backup materials that we gathered in the course of these several months of work to New York State as the report required by April 1. So as we have said many times, but I think it's important to say again, we view this as the end of the beginning, not the beginning of the end. So a number of our recommendations are general in nature and establish on our part and on the community's part and on the police department's part a commitment to dig into a bunch of items that are clearly of interest and concern in our community. It is our intention and our commitment to all of you that we will do that. So I don't want anyone to say, to feel as though a relatively general comment suggests that that's all we're going to do. That relatively general comment is intended to be a flag in the ground that says, here's a subject that we think is important, and we're going to work on it in the weeks and months to come. So a shout out to Chief Grutzner, who has been tremendously helpful in all of this, and his lieutenants, John Listwan and Jesse Woolman, and the entire police force have been good and cooperative, thoughtful participants in this. And I can tell you, talking to many of my colleagues, that, as you can imagine, is not universal, although I think lots of folks in Westchester have approached it that way. So I just want to thank those folks for their fruitful cooperation in all of this. So again, police reform at pleasantville-ny.gov is your place to go if you want to send us a note or offer some comment on any of the matters that are addressed in that document. Any of my colleagues have anything to add to that?
On this, or are there, you're doing more announcements, right?
Yeah, well, no, go ahead. Yeah, whatever.
No, I just wanted to point out that on Wednesday at 6, we have a discussion on camp for the summer. So parents, if you're interested in how we're planning to run the camp, there'll be a presentation then. There's an opportunity to let us know if we've done a good job of, under the circumstances that we anticipate, of making it possible for everyone to attend. And then, did you mention the election next week as well?
I was about to, but feel free.
No, you go for it.
Okay. So as we have reported a number of other times, our village elections take place in March, which is the case for some other Westchester communities. The date is fixed by state law this year, Tuesday, March 16. The County Board of Elections runs our elections, and I will say I am frustrated a bit by the fact that as yet they haven't gotten out the postcard mailing that gives everybody information about the date and the time and their polling place. So there are going to be 3 polling places, right, Noreen?
Mm-hmm.
You want to report that?
There'll be 3 locations, the rec department, Lutheran Church on Manville Road, and also the Hayes Hose Firehouse. There will be one change to one of our districts, and that's District 13, which for the past couple of years has been going to the rec center. You're actually going to be moved to the Lutheran Church, which makes it within walking distance of your neighborhood, which is a great change. But it also, that hall has more room for the social distancing that they need to run, especially in March. We kind of found that out when we had the village election in September. It was nicer weather back then, but people were able to queue up outside. The hallway into the meeting room for the Lutheran Church allows for a much better setup for 3 districts. But again, we were able to convince the county to move District 13, which is much more logical for the people that reside in that district.
So thank you for that. Now, just to be clear, you have to vote in the specific place that is assigned to your district. You can't choose one of those 3. And everyone is, we're promised that everyone is going to receive from the County Board of Elections a postcard providing that info. Eric, they said they were sending it this week?
They said they were hitting the mail today.
Okay, great. So hopefully that should be arriving shortly. So there are 3 positions up, mayor and 2 trustees. I'm running for re-election. David is running for re-election. Joe is stepping down, and Michael Peppard is on the ballot for the other trustee spot. So based on the ballot, it is an uncontested election, but it is important, as we have recently seen, for folks to vote, either for the folks who are on the ballot or for anyone else if they're so inclined. But do not make the assumption that you don't need to vote. So I encourage everybody to get out and vote. I think the timing is 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Is that right?
Yeah.
So at any rate, Tuesday, March 16, watch your mailbox for the County Board of Elections postcard.
And the county will link it, will post it to their site. As soon as they post it, we always put a link right in the middle of the homepage for the village, where once again, you can drill in, find your street, and find, confirm your polling site. So as soon as that's official, we do wait for them to post it so that we actually match exactly what they have and what was in the mailing. And you can always call Village Hall on the 16th, and we'll guide you where to go as well.
So I will say, as I already implied, I'm a bit frustrated that this information is as late as it is in coming together, but there you have it. It's not in our control. All right. Anybody else have announcements of any kind on any subject? All right. I had a couple of other things just to point out. We've mentioned them before. Big project, as you obviously know, on the Sawmill Parkway, which is essentially elevating a section of the parkway to alleviate flooding. Noisy and unhappy thing, especially for folks who are anywhere near it. The pounding of all these pilings to create a stable roadway. That project is going to go on for months. So a tough situation from the standpoint of the havoc it creates for people who are nearby and the havoc it creates for traffic. But the theory is that it'll get better in the end. We mentioned before, but I want to mention again, especially as our downtown life rebounds, which I am happy to report it is doing. Every meter now has on it a sticker that tells you how you can avail yourself of an app called Pango to pay for your parking meter fee via an app on your phone. So There is a service charge attached to it. If you prefer not to pay that service charge, you can put in coins as you always did, but it's worth paying attention. And if you're interested in that option, take a look at the Pango app. Subject to the rules at a given space, you can also extend your time via the app. So it sets timers and a bunch of different capabilities. So that Pango app is available in iOS and also Android. So worth downloading it if you think you would like to use it. So we sent out a leaf blower survey a week or so ago and encourage folks to let us know what their opinions are. Obviously, we've had lots of feedback on the question of whether there ought to be some sort of controls on leaf blowers or not, with very strong opinions on all sides of the issue. And it was our goal to cast a wider net and invite broader input on that. Can people get to that survey off pleasantville-ny.gov?
Yes.
How many people have responded so far?
I
don't know.
haven't checked yet.
No, I thought Eric or somebody.
What's the cutoff? I mean, I created the survey. Noreen, what did we say the cutoff date for the survey was? Do you remember?
Friday, March 12th.
Right.
Okay,
So
so that's this week, right?
Mhm.
So if you have an opinion on the idea of regulating leaf blowers in any form, we would be interested to know about it. Get yourself to pleasantville-ny.gov. You'll find a link.
just to be clear, this survey is specifically for residents in the village. Which is not to say that, you know, if you live outside of the village and you would like to give us your opinion, we have a dedicated email, which is it leafblowers@pleasantville-ny.gov.
It is.
So you can send us information this way, but this was specifically to get more information about, you know, how it affects residents in the village.
Okay. Then I do think there's going to be some happy news about some village businesses and organizations that are going to edge back into livelier life. And so we do expect within the next coming weeks or months that we'll start to see things swinging back to normal. And if we're successful, swinging back toward normal, certainly not yet normal, but all the more important that people maintain their focus on trying to stay safe and trying to avoid the spread so that we can continue that good progress. So David already mentioned the Zoom meeting for families that are interested in the day camp program. And we are also hard at work, and Matt Trainer and his team over at REC is hard at work on pool reopening and the question of how we would manage all of that. So I would say the details on that will be known before long, but we pretty well sorted out how the day camp would operate. And here's a chance for folks to see that template and both familiarize it and understand what that might mean for your family, but also to offer comment if you think there's a way to do it better. So, all right. Any comment on any subject from the public? Raise your hand. All right. There being none, the resolutions, number 37, I'll share my screen. Okay, Paul, number 37.
Second. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to sign the hydrant rental agreement with the Pleasantville Fire District to cover terms and fees covering the period of June 1st, 2021 through May 31st, 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
This is an annual renewal pro forma process. Thank you to the fire department for all that they do. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 38, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 22nd, 2021. And the minutes are attached.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or corrections to the minutes? So I just want to remind folks, in those minutes, we authorized an additional fee of $2,000 to BFJ Planning, the planners we have used for our update of the comprehensive plan. They are working on two pieces of potential edit to the village code. One is the possibility of adding what's called a floor area ratio regulation for some single family residential zones in the village, and also looking at the question of how we determine average mean grade as someone begins to undertake a new site plan. So both of those things reflect discussions that arose after specific proposals were brought to the village, and it was clear that there might be a benefit to the village to modify the zoning code in that way. So BFJ Planning is going to be back to us, I think, fairly soon with draft regulations that we'll discuss in a future meeting. And anyone who has an opinion on that will have a chance to weigh in. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Joe, 39.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves a request from Holy Innocents Parish to close the Tompkins Avenue parking lot to public parking on Saturday, March 20th, 2021 from 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for the purpose of a parish special event.
Is there a second?
Second.
So it's just worth reminding folks, not everyone is aware, the parking lot that is at the corner of Manville and Tompkins is owned by Holy Innocents. And in exchange for our maintenance of it, they give us the opportunity to use a big chunk of it for public parking, which, as you know, we do. It's closed to the public for church use at a couple of specific time slots over the weekend that align with their services. But what this resolution is doing is reporting that Holy Innocents can use their own parking lot during an hour we normally would have the rights to use it. So we very much appreciate the cooperation they have shown over all these many years. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. David, number 40.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves a public employer health emergency plan for the Village of Pleasantville.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Morrissey.
Yes, sir. So every public employer in New York State has been mandated to pass a what's referred to as a pandemic response plan. Needs to be adopted by the end of March. Looks at putting in place a plan and preparation and response to another potential pandemic. Hopefully we'll never have to use the plan, but it speaks to a variety of things, including shifting work schedules, telecommuting and putting that into place, stockpiling PPE, and identifying those positions within the village that are considered essential versus non-essential, which really is defined by those that have to be on site to complete their job versus those that can be done remotely. So a very interesting and effective process to go through. A lot of it we did on the fly about a year ago. And this was simply, formatting and putting it into writing. So this is the village's pandemic response plan, meeting the state's mandate.
Thank you, Eric. In our agendas, on Novus Agenda, which again you can get to from pleasantville.ny.gov, clicking on our meeting and then into the agenda, all these blue links are hot links. And if you click this one, it will take you into the a 14-page detail if that's of any interest to you, but all of those things are available, linked to our agenda, and you can download a PDF and take a look. Back to Paul. Everyone.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the notice of retirement of Lisa Dulce, intermediate typist, part-time, effective March 29th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
So Lisa has worked for the police department for a very long time. Chief Grutzner is on the call. 20 some odd years.
20 plus years. Lisa has been our rock. She has been the continuity in the department. She has been invaluable to me in my position as the chief. I know a lot of people don't get to see what Lisa does because she is very much behind the scenes, but pretty much every time I have been able to go out to the public or speak to the board, it is because Lisa has prepared me and put me in a position to bring the information that's needed effectively. And she's a joy to work with. She is, her and her husband George raised their family in this village, and they are onto things. I'm sure there's going to be many more times for people to speak about what George and Lisa and their boys mean and have meant to this village. But for us in the police department, it's going to be a huge hole for us to fill. And I've really appreciated her steadying hand and her calm influence as tumultuous times have come through the department. She's been a pleasure, and she'll be greatly missed.
So do you suppose if we vote down this resolution, she won't be able to retire?
I know I'm not a voting member, but I would like to vote no at this point. So,
So as you just heard from the chief, thank you, Lisa, for all those years of service. And he also alluded to the service of her husband, George, a former fire chief and longtime member of the fire department, who also assists us with our senior program transportation, and just good folks all the way around. Some kids off in the Air Force, just the kind of people you're glad to have in Pleasantville, and a well-deserved retirement for Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
approved. Nicole, number 42.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments for fiscal year ending 2021 as listed below. Budget transfers in the general fund, $8,725 from contingent to Village Hall repair and maintenance. In the appropriate fund balance from the general fund, $10,000 from capital to PPD facility improvements, flooring and repairs. Increased revenue and expense water fund, $10,000. That's water, water non-resident repair. Is that a transfer as well? I'm not clear on that. Hello?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, sorry. To water transmission overtime. So increase revenue and expense of the capital fund, also $10,000 from interfund transfer from refuse fund to police facility improvements, also flooring and repairs.
So is there a second?
Second.
So as has been apparent for several meetings running, the Village Hall plumbing system has been a significant headache for Eric and Noreen and the police department. Police department being at the bottom of the building, which is the wrong place to be when you have plumbing problems. So the result of that is not just repairs, but also an opportunity to improve a room down at the lowest level of the police department as well for more flexible use. Anything to add to that, Eric?
Nope. The Village Hall repair maintenance, that was the Dakin assessment plus a little bit of buffer. And then, as you said, the PD flooring project is replacing the flooring in the men's locker room that took the brunt of the sewer backups, but also throughout that bottom basement area, including the women's locker room and the workout area. So we're just going to completely redo those floors. That dates back to the 90s.
And we're cautiously confident the plumbing problem is now resolved fully?
Yes.
Knock on wood.
But we get it scoped every other week and have gotten the all clear. So
All right. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Joe, number 43.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the abstract for payment of claims dated March 8th, 2021 for fiscal year 2021, covering check numbers 99647 through 99779. From the general fund, $147,348.36. From the water fund, $111,955.58. From the refuse fund, $12,290.08. For a total of $271,594.02. Payments attached.
Is there a second?
Second.
So again, as is always the case, the payment of claims is a hot link, and you can click into the 29 pages of specific expenditures we're making. And if you were to do that, you would see that we have just bought 169 tons of road salt for obvious reasons. Any comments or questions about the check register? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. David, 44.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the resignation of Raymond Mina, court attendant, effective March 4th, 2021, and approves the request to resubmit his application for Westchester County Civil Service Review for rehire as court attendant, job code 0051 at the rate of $20 per hour.
Is there a second?
Second.
Eric, you want to explain what happened here?
sure. So this is Westchester County Civil Service. This gentleman was hired as a court attendant based on the resume. Now, civil services, as they do time to time, kind of audits the positions that a municipality have. They flagged his resume because it didn't add up to the specified experience needed, 2 years experience in kind of public safety, and they didn't consider all of his experience to be specific to that. So they asked that this is the best path forward. What we're going to do is have him resign and reapply, because in the interim, he has now reached that 2-year threshold. So we've talked to civil service, county HR, and they believe that if we resubmit, they will effectively approve his rehire.
So there you have it. In the world of civil service, he'll step outside, lock the door, unlock the door, come back in.
That's right.
He's doing a good job for us. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. 45. Joe.
Whereas a project for the Manville Road corridor improvement. Pardon me 1 second. I cannot move this, and it's in my way.
Isn't it Paul anyway?
Oh, is it the,
Did I go out of order?
Yeah, because I just did the,
Oh,
I would think, yes. So,
all right.
Paul, you go.
You're off the hook. Sorry about that, guys.
Paul just did the court attendant.
All right. So I was only one off. Tag,
Right.
you're it, Nicole.
okay. Whereas a project for the Manville Road corridor improvements. Whoa,
Sorry.
now you're really toying with me.
Yeah, I don't know why that did that. Okay. Thank you, Acrobat.
All right.
Start over.
The
All
project,
right.
I'm not going to read the PIN number, is eligible for funding under Title 23 U.S. Code as amended that calls for the apportionment of the cost such program to be borne at the ratio of 80% federal funds and 20% non-federal funds. And whereas the Village of Pleasantville desires to advance the project by making a commitment of 100% of the non-federal share of the costs of construction and construction inspection. Now therefore, the Village of Pleasantville Board duly convened does hereby resolve that the Village Board hereby approves the above subject project. And it is hereby further resolved that the Village Board hereby authorizes the Village of Pleasantville to pay in the first instance 100% of the federal and non-federal share of the cost of construction and construction inspection work for the project or portions thereof. And it is further resolved that in the event the full federal and non-federal share cost of the project exceeds the amount appropriated above, the Village Pleasantville Board shall convene as soon as possible to appropriate said excess amount immediately upon the notification by the village administrator thereof. And it is further resolved that the administrator of the Village of Pleasantville be and is hereby authorized to execute all necessary agreements, certifications, or reimbursement requests for federal aid and or applicable Marchicelli aid on behalf of the Village of Pleasantville with the New York State Department of Transportation in connection with the advancement or approval of the project and providing for the administration of the project and the municipality's first instance funding of project costs and permanent funding of the local share of federal aid and state aid eligible project costs and all project costs within appropriations therefore that are not so eligible. Oof, that's a sentence. And it's further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be filed with the New York State Commissioner of Transportation by attaching it to any necessary agreement in connection with the project. And it is further resolved this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Is there a second?
Second.
A storm of words, which essentially are a mechanism for us to accept an additional $100-some thousand in grant. You want to report the details of this, Eric?
Sure. So this is the mechanism in which will allow the village to accept $127,000 an additional state aid in support of the Manville Road project.
So just as a quick recap, we discussed this in work session, and we received a one-year extension from the state DOT on the $1.5 million plus money that has already been awarded to us. That is contingent on us taking a number of steps this year, including eventually going out to bid this year. So obviously we don't know at the moment how those numbers will come back. And it is both conceivable that when we get those numbers back, we'll be satisfied with them and accept the bids. Also conceivable that they will be unacceptable to us and we would not accept them, in which case there is at least the possibility, if not the likelihood, that we would lose the grant, which is would be an unhappy development. But as you all know, we're not quite certain how those numbers will land. So comments or questions on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Joe, you got a short one, 46.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the appointment of Julio Sanchez to motor equipment operator, job code 0427, CSCB wage schedule B, step 1, annual salary $64,000, effective March 22nd, 2021. Said appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 12 weeks to a maximum of 52 weeks.
Is there a second?
Second.
New hire to replace an open slot already in the budget. And we have the hiring recommendation memo attached. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Welcome to the team, Julio Sanchez. Glad to have you. Is there any new business or further comment from the public? All right, so we are shortly to go into executive discussion to discuss a matter of personnel, but I just wanted to close by reporting, as perhaps you know, if you follow our meetings, that we're in the midst of the budget season. Our fiscal year begins June 1, and so we're in the last quarter of our current fiscal year and are required to post a draft budget within a couple of weeks for the coming year. What date are we going to post?
The tentative budget is due on the 20th, which will be submitted on the 19th, which is a Friday.
Okay. So as is the case every year, sometimes toward the latter half of March, we post a draft budget. That draft budget is the result of a lot of work done by the administrative team and the finance team at Village Hall, working with each department head. The village board has had a series of Zoom work sessions, normally would have been face-to-face, with each of our departments, and continues to go through the budget line by line. That draft budget will be posted on the 19th, and there'll be a public hearing about it in April. We will be tinkering with it and likely making some changes prior to its adoption, which will take place before the end of April. So. All right, there being no further comment, is there a motion to go into an executive session on matters of personnel?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks on Monday, March 22. Again, the substantive activity that day will be to approve the recommendations for the police reform process. If you have comments, policereform@pleasantville-ny.gov. Send us an email. Thank you and good night. Board members, Eric sent the call in for the executive session in your email.